Most people often struggle in answering questions such as dependent variable, independent variable, and all those investigative questions. So now we just need to know how to master investigation in life sciences. Welcome to Edu-ca-te. I'll just give you tips and tricks on how to answer investigations in life sciences. So now let us start with the basic thing, which is known as an aim of an experiment. So now whenever you hear a question saying you should state the aim of an experiment, the aim always usually starts with these words: to determine the effect of something on something. So during an investigation, we just want to prove if something is true. So to do that, we need to actually determine what will happen if we change something. So now most of the times, whenever you see the statement to determine the effect of something on something, that is known as an aim of an investigation. For example, you can see that in this investigation, they say a student set up an experiment as shown in the diagram below to determine the effect of carbon dioxide concentration on the rates of photosynthesis of a pond weed. This is known as the aim of an investigation. It usually goes like we are determining an effect of something on something. So in this case, this is determining the effect of carbon dioxide concentration on the rates of photosynthesis. So whenever you are told to state the aim, like here this question, what is the aim of the investigation? You are going to say that to determine, you first start with the words to determine. So to determine the effect, carbon dioxide concentration on the rate of photosynthesis, of a pondweed. So this is the aim of an investigation. So most of the times the aim of an investigation, it is found in the opening statement of the question. So you can see this first paragraph of the question, it always has got the aim and also has got the hypothesis, a dependent and independent variable, as well as an investigative question. All of these things which I have asked here, they are all found in the first paragraph of an investigation. So the aim, it is just to determine how something affects something. That is why we say we are determining the effect of something on something. So whenever they say state the aim, you're going to start with the words to determine the effect of. You look at your paragraph. What effect are you determining on what? Like for here, let us look at this one. Grade 11 learners carried out an investigation to determine the effect of the activity on the heart rate and breathing. Okay, I cannot see properly here, but then to determine the activity on the heart rate and breathing rate of humans. So you can see the moment you start here with the word to determine the effect. So whenever you are determining the effect of something on something, that will be your aim of the investigation. So the aim is usually found in the opening paragraph. Just like here, an investigation was conducted to determine the effect of smoking on the risk of lung cancer. You can see, so this is the aim. Whenever you see the word to determine the effect of something, that is known as an aim. So the aim of the investigation, the hypothesis, as well as the dependent and independent, they are all found in the first paragraph of the investigation. So now let us talk about the hypothesis. The hypothesis, it is all about what do you think about the aim. The hypothesis is never wrong. It is never false. The hypothesis is always correct. It is always true. Okay, it is all about what do you think about the aim. So now most of the times when you're answering the question about the hypothesis, if they say state the hypothesis of this investigation, you will be like, if something increases or decreases, then the other thing will decrease or increase. That's how you go with it. So now, how do you know what to pick? Just like here, you can see the aim says to determine the effect of carbon dioxide concentration on the rates of photosynthesis of a pond weed. So to state the hypothesis, I would say if carbon dioxide concentration, I'm just saying what I think about the aim. If carbon dioxide concentration increases, I have already talked about carbon dioxide, and then I would say then the rate of photosynthesis, will decrease. Well, this is just my opinion, okay? So a hypothesis is just your opinion on the aim. So you must include these variables, the carbon dioxide, all those things which we were mentioning, the effect of carbon dioxide concentration, as well as the rate of photosynthesis. That's part of the aim, right? So when you're stating the hypothesis, you should always include that carbon dioxide concentration and the rate of photosynthesis as well. So a hypothesis it can be false, it can be correct, but they will always make it correct. You just have to say if something increases, or you can say if something decreases, then the other thing will increase, or you can say it will decrease. It's your choice. So an hypothesis is about what you think about the aim. The aim was to determine the effect of physical activity, on the heart rate. That was the aim, to determine the aim. To determine the effect. So you are determining the effect of physical activity on heart rate. But for my hypothesis, I'm just going to say what do I think about the aim. So now the aim says to determine the effect of physical activity on heart rate. I can just say that increasing physical activity increases heart rate. Increasing physical activity increases heart rate. This is just my opinion on the aim. This is what I think about the aim of the investigation. But I make sure that I include my variables, physical activity as well as heart rate. So it is all about what I think about the aim of the investigation. So that is known as a hypothesis. So for this one, the aim says to determine the effect of smoking smoking in males on the risk of lung cancer. Okay, I can state my hypothesis as smoking. Okay, I can just say increased smoking. Okay, increased smoking in males increases the risk of lung cancer. Increases the risk of lung cancer. This is just my opinion, okay? So a hypothesis is just what you think about the aim of the investigation. Remember that the aim is that statement that says to determine the effect of something on something. But the hypothesis, it is what you think about the aim. So that's how you identify a hypothesis. So you just say if something increases or decreases, then something will decrease or increase. So you just make sure that you mention those variables, or those variables that are on the aim of the investigation. So a hypothesis is always correct. They always make it correct. It is what you think about the aim. So now let's move to the investigative question. So the investigative question is more like the aim as well, but then you are just questioning how will the first variable affect the second variable. So you are filling in the same things here on the hypothesis, on the aim. So the variables that you find on the aims, you just fill them here. How will this affect that? For example, back to this question, my aim says to determine the effect of carbon dioxide concentration on the rates of photosynthesis of a pond weed. I can say, how will carbon dioxide concentration, okay, my investigation question will be like, how will carbon dioxide concentration affect the rate of photosynthesis, So now you can see this is still the same thing as the aim, but then it is a question. That's why we say it is an investigative question. So you put a question mark at the end, but you always mention these variables that are found in the aim: carbon dioxide concentration as well as rates of photosynthesis. So on this one, I would say the aim says to determine the effect of physical activity on heart rate. So my variables that I have here is physical activity as well as heart rate. So for me to propose an investigative question, I would say how does physical activity affect heart rate? So this is known as an investigative question. You are just questioning how something affects something. That is why we always have the format: how does the first variable affect the second variable? Okay, so for this one, the aim was saying to determine the effect of smoking in males on the risk of lung cancer. So in an investigative question, I could just go like, how does smoking in males affect okay, or maybe how do they affect the risk? Or you can just say increase the risk. You can just say increase the risk of lung cancer. So all you do, you just state the aim, but then in form of a question. You state it in form of a question. You put a question mark at the end to indicate that this is an investigative question. And now the dependent and the independent variable, these are the two things. So the independent variable, it is what we are changing so that we can get our results. So what we change, remember that for an investigation, we change something so that we can see its effect on the results. And then the dependent variable, they are those results that we get after we change something. So the dependent variable, it is always affected by the independent variable because we change something in the independent variable so that we can get the results. The results are known as the dependent variable. So it's more like here we find it all in the first paragraph. How to determine the effect of carbon dioxide concentration. So the carbon dioxide concentration, it is actually our independent variable. Carbon dioxide concentration, that is our independent variable. Whenever they say effect of, whatever that follows them, that is what you will be changing. So we actually change the carbon dioxide concentration so that we can observe the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, so our carbon dioxide there, it is our independent variable. Independent, it is something that we change to get a result. It is something that we change to get a result. And then the rate of photosynthesis is our dependent variable. please do not use the tables. Just use this first statement to be able to get the dependent and the independent variable. So whenever they say to determine the effect of, the first thing that comes is the independent variable on the second thing that comes is the dependent variable. So we actually change the carbon dioxide concentration so that we can see, or we can measure, the rates of photosynthesis. Our results, or the rates of photosynthesis in this case, that is our dependent variable. So for this question, it was saying to determine the effect of physical activity on heart rate. So physical activity, the first thing that comes, remember, after the word effect, the first thing that comes there, it is known as an independent variable. So the effect of the independent variable on the dependent variable. This heart rate, it is the what? This is the dependent variable. So the dependent variable here, it is the what? The heart rate. So you all find that in the first paragraph of the question. Just like here, an investigation was conducted to determine the effect of smoking in males on the risk of lung cancer. The effect of, what follows after the word effect of, it is your independent variable. Smoking in males, that is your independent variable. Smoking in males is your independent variable. And then your dependent variable on the following statement after the word on there, it is your what? It is your dependent variable. So this is how you identify them. You just use the first paragraph of the question, and then you'll be able to identify the dependent and the independent variable. So another thing that we have, it is known as a controlled variable. A controlled variable, it is kept constant or it does not change. So most of the times you will not be able to find that in the first paragraph. So you will be able to find that in the procedure of the investigation. So let's just look at this procedure, for example. The procedure for the investigation was as follows. They chose 5 learners of the same age. You can see that the age is kept constant. Remember, a controlled variable, it is something that does not change or something that is kept constant. So here, they chose 5 learners of the same age. So the age here, actually it is the what? It is the controlled variable. So if they say identify the controlled variable in the investigation, you would say it is age, because they chose 5 learners of the same age. This word same, it is emphasizing that we are using the same quantity, or the variable does not change, the age in this case. Okay, they chose 5 learners of the same age. And then if you look at this one, the following procedure was followed. 40 males were selected to be part of the investigation. And then look at this. Only males who regularly smoke were included. So only males. The word only males just means that we are only taking the males that regularly smoke. We are only taking the males that regularly smoke. So for you to mention the controlled variable here, it is the what? It is the, you can just say it is the frequency of smoke. You can say something like that, frequency of smoke, meaning how many times do people smoke. Frequency of smoke. So we keep the frequency of smoke constant, or you can just say, but then you have to mention in such a way that we are not changing this. We are only taking those who regularly smoke. We are not taking males that do not smoke. Another controlled variable here, all males were of the same age group. You can see the word same. The moment you see the word same, just know that we are not changing, like it's a controlled variable. So this is age group. The age group as well here is a controlled variable. Okay, so I hope that is clear enough. So a controlled variable, you usually see it with the word same. Sometimes you can see using the word same, or you can see using the word only. Those words will suggest that something is not changing, is a controlled variable. Remember, the independent variable changes. The dependent variable, it is the results. The controlled variable, it remains the same. It is something that is kept constant. Then now we go to reliability. So whenever they say talk about the reliability of an investigation, just know about 2 points. You repeat the investigation or you increase the sample size. Those are the 2 ways in which reliability is ensured in an investigation. Okay, so now for example, in this one it says a farmer conducted an investigation to determine which type of fertilizer would increase the yield of her wheat crop. Okay, this is the first statement or the first paragraph where you get your aim, where you get your dependent variable, your investigative question, your hypothesis. But now this is the procedures, these points. She divided her farm into 3 1-hectare plots and treated them as follows. She planted the same type of crop. Remember the word same, it means that we are ensuring it is the constant variable, right? So if they ask here what is the constant variable, you're gonna say type of crop, because the same type of crop was used. Okay, she used water from a river which flows through the farm to irrigate. Okay, so they say here she planted the same type of crop, namely wheat, during November each year. The word each year, it means that each and every November she planted some crops, some wheat in this case. So each and every November she was planting something. So she's repeating the investigation. So here you can see the question, how was the reliability increased in this investigation? You are going to say that you're going to say that she planted, or you can say she planted the wheat each year. The word each year indicates that she repeatedly did this. She was repeating the investigation. Okay, she was repeating the investigation. So she planted the wheat each year. So the word each year, it is trying to tell you that the investigation was repeated. Okay, and then now she used water from a river which flows through the farm to irrigate her crop. She recorded the yield per plot for each year. The yield was measured by calculating the number of kilograms of wheat produced per hectare. So in this case, the reliability factor, it is the repeating, because she repeated the investigation each year. Okay, so you identify it in the procedure. Even here, okay, reliability here also, the following procedure was followed. Okay, 40 males were selected to be part of the investigation. Only males who regularly smoke were included. All males were of the same age group. The males in the investigation smoked the same type of cigarette. All right, so do you notice this number 40? It's a big sample size. Whenever they give you a number, if they say 5 or they say 6, 6 or 7, something was used. Here they've said 40 males were selected to be part of the investigation. So we can say that there was a large sample size. Remember, reliability is ensured when we increase the sample size, or when we increase the number of things that we use to do the investigation. In this case, we are using 40 males, so you can say the reliability was used. How do you answer this question? You're just going to say 40 males were selected. 40 males were selected to be part of the investigation. Were selected to be part of the investigation. So reliability is all about repeating the investigation, as well as increasing the sample size or using a large sample. Look at this one here. they chose 5 learners of the same age to participate in their investigation. They measured the heart rate and breathing rate of each learner before the physical activities. The learners each walked a distance of 5 kilometers and also ran a distance of 5 kilometers. They measured the heart rate and breathing rate of each learner after walking and running. Look at this term. They chose 5 learners. Whenever they give you a number or they give you the amount of the sample that has been used, in this case it was learners, so they've used a large sample size. No matter what number they give you here, that is more than 1, you're going to say that reliability has been ensured because a large sample size has been used. So you're going to say here 5 learners were chosen, or you can just copy this exactly as it is. They chose 5 learners. 5 learners were chosen. So reliability is all about repeating the investigation or using a large sample size. Repeating the investigation or using a large sample size. So that is all about reliability. And then validity just questions, has everything been kept constant besides the independent variable. So most of the times you see the word same, just know that that also ensures validity. Remember, we've used the word same to refer to the controlled variable. So actually, whenever you've got controlled variables, it means that your investigation is going to be valid. How? For example, here we can say she planted the same type of crop. So if the question says state the controlled variable, you're gonna say type of crop because it has been the same. It has not been changed. But if they say state one way in which validity has been increased, you're just going to say that the same type of crop was planted. The same type, as long as there's the word same. The word same most of the time says it all. The same type of crop was planted. So this ensures validity. So validity of the investigation is always ensured by controlling something or by keeping something constant. Whenever you see the word same, just know that they're talking about validity. Look at this one. All males were of the same age group. The word same already tells you about the validity of the investigation. So here, how was validity increased? You can just say same, all males were of the same age group. Same age group. Then you're gonna get a mark. Just using the word same. In reliability, you increase sample size or you repeat the investigation. But then in validity, you use the word same. So here you can see that the males in the investigation smoke the same type of cigarette. So you're gonna just say here, same type of cigarette. Same type of cigarette. So do you notice that here, whenever you are doing these investigations, you just need to look out for the keywords. The word same gives you the controlled variable, and it also gives you the validity. So here, one of the controlled variables here is the type of cigarette, because that same type of cigarette was used. Same type of cigarette was used. Okay, so that's how we ensure validity. For example, here they chose 5 learners of the same age group. So if you are going to talk about validity here, you're gonna, how was validity increased? You're going to talk about something that has been kept the same or kept constant. Like here, the same age group. You're just going to say that learners of the same age were used, or you can say learners of the same age, as long as you have the word same age. Learners of the same age were used. So the word same just gives you an idea on validity. So reliability, you repeat the investigation or you increase the sample size. How do you see that the sample size has been increased? You just look at the number. If they say they chose a certain number of things, you just know that's all about ensuring reliability. Just like here, 40 emails were selected. That's ensuring reliability because you are using a large sample size. And then look at this one, for example, okay. For this one, they did not mention any number, so we won't consider the sample size. We'll consider the repeating of the investigation. You can see that here she planted the same type of crop during November. Each year she has repeated the investigation. So there are two ways of ensuring reliability. There is one way of ensuring validity. Validity, you just use the word same. Whenever you see the word same or similar is all about validity, whereas for reliability it's increasing sample size or repeating the investigation. You read this scenario carefully and you analyze if the investigation has been repeated or not. So now finally, interpreting the results of an investigation. So results of an investigation are represented using graphs or maybe using tables. So both of them have got headings. Okay, a table has got a heading, a graph has a heading, and the heading contains both the dependent and the independent variable. But then in a table, this is how you identify the independent and dependent variable. You can see here that here carbon dioxide concentration, it is on the left side. So the left side, it is always the independent variable, and then the right side, it is the dependent variable. So in this case, our independent variable, it is the CO2 concentration, and the dependent variable is the number of bubbles per minute. But I recommend you to sort of like identify dependent variable and independent variable on the opening statement, on the opening paragraph, on this paragraph, not on the table. Okay, so here it is evident that what is an independent variable. You can see that here the carbon dioxide concentration has been changed. It was 0 at first, it is now 0.1, it is now 0.2, it is now 0.3, it is now 0.4, it is now 0.5. So do you notice that it is changing? So remember that an independent variable is a variable that changes, okay, so that we can get our results. Just like this table here, you can see physical activity. The physical activity changed. At first, the physical activity was to rest. The second one was to walk. The third one was to run. All of these are different physical activities. Okay, so the physical activity here, it is changing. It is our independent variable. Independent, it is the one that changes so that we can have these results. So these results are actually the dependent variable, but then you must identify them from the opening statement. You can see here number of cigarettes smoked daily. Look at this. At first it was 10, now it is 20, third it is 30, fourth is 40, and then fifth it is more than 40. So do you see that the number of cigarettes smoked daily changed? They increased, particularly in this one. And then so it means this is our independent variable. It is something that we are changing so that we can get the results. The results is the dependent variable, which is the risk of lung cancer. So these are just results that we are getting, which are the dependent variable. So I hope that this video has helped you to be able to approach your life sciences investigations with more confidence. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends to stay tuned.